everyone, so I'm back for my part 2 video of the Charlotte Tilbury brand new Unreal Skin. This is the Sheer Glow Tint, and I've got all of the new Island Glow lip and cheek shades here. So yesterday I did a full review of this foundation, but what I didn't do was a check-in, and what I didn't do was try all of these. I only tried one of these. So I will explain to you in this video the one I did try on. So if you want to go back to part 1 for a very full description of this foundation and see the first lip and cheek that I haven't got in this video, I will put a link for you so you can go back to that video and see that. But today I'm going to try this on using a different base to yesterday to see if I get different results, and I'm also going to show you my wear test from yesterday and then try on all of these lip and cheek tints. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah. I'm 47, not a professional, just somebody who loves makeup and beauty. Here on my channel I upload at least twice a week, and I do reviews of my favourite products and my favourite looks, any sort of beauty news. If you think you'd enjoy this, I'd love it so much if you liked and subscribed. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for returning, and I would love to hear from you in the comment section below. I love chatting with you and it's super helpful to my channel, so I'd really appreciate it if you commented below. Anyway, my skin type, I've got fair to light skin with neutral undertones, combination skin and a slightly greasy T-zone. Anyway, let's get on with this video. So if you saw my video yesterday, you will have seen I did my skincare using all Charlotte Tilbury skincare. I used her Magic Serum, I used her Magic Water Cream, and then I went in with her SPF, which is quite glowy. And I felt in that maybe I was doubling the glow by using that and then using this Unreal Skin, which is also glowy. So today I'm going to change that up. I've gone back to my more usual skincare routine, which is actually Ole Henriksen, which I applied about 2 hours ago now. And I wouldn't normally wait that long, I've just had a busy morning, but it's good that it's had loads of time to settle down. And I've put my SPF on that's not a glowy SPF. So I've got sort of glassy skin, I suppose, but not super glowy. So this is a skincare routine I use most days, so I know it works with just about everything. But what I'm going to do now is use a mattifying primer, which is obviously something I didn't do at all yesterday. Yesterday I had such a glowy base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Danessa Myricks serum, which is this water powder serum. That's how it's written on the bottle. Now this stuff has been phenomenal for me. I've been using this with products like skin tints, where I tend to get quite a greasy T-zone by the end of the day, and whenever I use this serum I don't get any greases coming through at all. This is fabulous. So today I'm going to put this on everywhere, but I will be trying blushes on and off, so how I look by the end of the day may be slightly different, but I won't be doing a full check-in on this. I'm going to show you yesterday's check-in, but I will report back to you on how things are this evening and whether this has made a difference, whether I've got anything coming through. But what I would say from yesterday is after powdering down, I didn't particularly have greases coming through. So really this isn't less about bringing greases through, and it's more about whether it just makes it a bit less shiny than yesterday and I'm not doubling the glow. I'm hoping that's what will happen, because it was a bit too much. Anyone who sees my part 1 video will see how my face was lit up like nobody's business. So I'm hoping it'll be a bit calmer using this. So I put quite a few drops of this, I'd say about 5, and rub it in my hands and then pat it in, starting in my trouble zones, which is my T-zone. I think probably because my skincare went on so long ago, my skin is absorbing it really fast, so I'm actually going in with a bit more. Now I will be taking my makeup off on my cheeks today to show you all of the different cheek tints. But I think what I'll do is for my final look with my last one, I might reapply it back into the cheek area. But I'm going to be very careful not to disturb my T-zone or my forehead today. So this first application will remain. This dries down very quickly and gives you a sort of powdery finish. So I'm not going to go into lots of product details about this new foundation. If you go to my part 1 video, I give a lot of information about it there. I did attend a webinar with Charlotte Tilbury before launch day, so I did get lots of information from that webinar, and I've given everything that I noted down in that part 1 video for you. So I'm just going to go straight ahead with the application. So I've got shade 2 Fair, which I got thinking it would be a good summer shade for me, but I think it's probably a good winter because as you can see, even with my tan on, it's not particularly dark at all. And what I did learn yesterday is this coverage is extremely light, so I'm just going to apply this quite a lot. So I've just put loads all over my face, and I'm going in with the Charlotte Tilbury complexion brush, which I used yesterday for everything, and it seemed to work really nicely for this. And this, you can rub it in with your hands. I think you could use just about any product, to be honest. Apart from, I personally wouldn't use a sponge because it's so balmy. I think you'd probably lose a bit too much product. And Charlotte says, don't forget to take it down the neck and get this sort of glow down here. So I've still got a very glowy finish, but I definitely feel that it's less tacky and less glowy than yesterday. So I am actually a lot happier with that than I was yesterday. It will still need to be powdered down for me to like the finished look, because it is still too shiny for me. I'm just going to put a little bit more there. It can be built up a little bit, this, but because of the shine I don't want to go too mad. So yesterday, one of my favourite beauty creators on YouTube, Charlotte Holcroft, I saw her reviewing these foundation sticks, and she used one as a bronzer, which I thought was a really good idea, because these are very much like bronzer sticks, but it would be glowy bronzer sticks. So I've got one to try today, although I personally think I would probably use this more when I've got a matte foundation, so that when I've got no glow on my face, I'm using a glowy foundation. I quite like to bring glow back when I've got a very matte finish, so it's quite nice to have that. So glow on glow for me might be a bit too greasy, a bit too tacky, and just too much glow. But I'm going to try it just to see how the colour works. So I picked up shade 13 Deep, and I'll show you this on the back of my hand. So I think this has got potential to be quite a good bronze shade. So I'm just going to apply this the way I would a contour. It's not really deep enough to be a contour for me, but anyway, I want to see if I can get that sort of multi-use out of it and use it the way I do a contour and a brush, so it's like a bronzer, if you like. I'll put a little bit there as well, and then underneath here. Now I am going to use my BK 109 because I do like that Charlotte Tilbury brush for using for everything. It's handy, but it's just not as soft as this BK Beauty 109, and I miss using it, to be honest. I think that's working quite well as a bronzer actually. It's given me a lot more pigment than I was expecting. I was thinking it could be a bit too sheer, and it is sheer, but I'm getting the pigment. I think that works, you know. I'm not sure it'll work on the nose area, but let's see. I've got my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer brush, which I'm just going to use to go around the edges. Yesterday I used the beautiful Skin Cream Bronzer in shade Fair, and well, that's one of my favourites ever. Certainly gives me a very bronzy glowy finish, isn't it? But I do think, again, a bit like with the SPF, I've doubled up the glow. One thing I did say I might do in part one was to do one side using a Hollywood Flawless filter and one side with this, so I can see a direct comparison. But I wanted to do a full wear test like this today again, so I can just give you a report, which I will do in the comments section below. But what I will do is I'm going to make a shorts video, so look out for that, because I'll make a shorts video comparing them side by side, before I add powder and after. So I'm going to go back with the Charlotte Tilbury brush and use the smaller end to put the contour in place. Well, it certainly blends in very nicely, it just melts because it's the same formula basically, so they just melt into each other. Very, very easy. I mean, Charlotte talks about you can do your face in 30 seconds. I don't think I personally could do this in 30 seconds, but if you want that sort of immediate effect from this, you can just rub it in with your fingers and it just melts. There's not much work involved. I personally would never just go off and leave it glowy like this. And then I do like to add lots of other products, so it's certainly not 30 seconds for me, but it is quick. Yeah, that's definitely too warm as a contour. I quite like it as a bronze. I'm definitely going to try this with a matte foundation as a bronzer, so I'm going to keep it as a bronzer stick and see what I think. but now that I've done that, I'm starting to feel desperate to powder down again like yesterday. Another thing I did yesterday is I used the Beautiful Skin Charlotte Tilbury concealer, and that caked up when I used that, which is never done before with anything, so it seemed bizarre to me that it did that when I was using it with the Charlotte Tilbury foundation. They should be working together. In fact, Charlotte recommends using them together, so I'd love to know if anyone else finds that, because that was a bit strange. In fact, I even put it here, and you can see this in my end of day check-in, which I will be showing you soon, how I actually got caking here. So you can see the caking in the exact spots where the concealer was, and I didn't get caking anywhere else because this is not a cakey product. So today I'm going to use my Haus Labs, which should give me a bit more of a full coverage as well, because I'm not getting a lot of coverage from this. So I'm starting with shade 5, which is Fair Peach. I like to use this shade for under the eyes for a bit of colour correction. It's actually a perfect shade for me under the eyes, and a little bit over as well. And I might just take a little bit for some correction in the areas where I'm not really getting enough from this foundation. It's blending out nicely on the face, but the big question will be under the eyes, particularly this eye, which for some reason cakes much more than this side. So let's see if that happens. So I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury brush like yesterday. It's actually a fabulous brush for this. Let's see what happens when I tap this in. Now this is a concealer which is pretty much as reliable for me as the Beautiful Skin one. But whether it reacts with this foundation and cakes, we'll wait and see. I'm not going to touch the eyes yet. I'm going to give it a bit more time to really warm up and settle into the skin before I go back in and finally press it in. So I'm going to use the lighter shade of my Haus Labs in the same area as yesterday to just try to contour, really chisel it out, which is what I always do. And this is where I got a streak of caking when I added Beautiful Skin yesterday. So this is shade 01 Fair, which is really light, so I'm not going to put too much since I've got quite a lot of colour on my face. A little dab on my chin, up here, and a dab on the nose, and a little bit here as well. And yesterday when I applied it here it looked okay. It was more towards the end of the day, so like I said, I will be giving you an update in the comments on everything I'm doing today. At the moment it's looking like it's blending in very well, so let's see. So now with the under eyes, I'm just going to use my mini beauty blender to make sure there's no excess after the problems I had yesterday, and then we'll look to see how this problem zone is. Okay, so looking in my mirror, it's definitely looking better than yesterday. There's a slight hint of caking in that spot. So maybe this is just something that's reoccurring with me because I'm back on tretinoin, and certainly this started happening more often when I switched back to tretinoin last time. But it definitely looks much better than yesterday. And now powdering down, thankfully, because this glow in the centre of my face is dreadful. I'm using my Givenchy Prisme Libre in shade 3. So I'm powdering my T-zone and under and over the eyes. And so this is definitely looking better underneath the eyes. If I just show you close up, powdered down, it's looking a lot better than yesterday. The Beautiful Skin concealer is the one that was causing me the problems, so I'm not going to say not to use it with this foundation, but certainly if you have problems, that might be why, because that's what happened to me yesterday. I will maybe try it again just to see if it was a fluke. Maybe it was the skincare, using the Charlotte Tilbury skincare underneath, so I'll definitely try that more. And I will report back to you in my end of month update if there's any changes. So this is my finish when I don't powder down this area, which I'm actually quite happy with. I think leaving that there, not having any highlighter, means that when I go in with a blush, I've pretty much got the glow I need. All I need is a bit of blush and my base is completed. Yesterday it was definitely a bit more glowy than this, so I didn't need to powder down quite as desperately. But certainly it hasn't made an awful lot of difference. This is a super, super glowy product. So unless you like to glow a lot, and I do mean more than ever before, you will need to powder this down. And also I think it locks it in and helps it last because it stopped it feeling so sticky. It doesn't feel as sticky today. I think yesterday it felt a lot stickier because I used that glowy SPF underneath, but it still does feel quite sticky. So I do think when I finish my blush, I will have to put some more powder in. Yesterday I ended up saying exactly the same thing, that I like keeping this glow but I don't like the feel, and my hair will just stick to my face and start removing the makeup for me. So anyway, because I'm going to be taking it on and off with blushes, I won't do that now. What I'll do is I'll go off camera and quickly do my eyes, and then we'll be back for you to see all of the blush shades. But before I do that, I'm going to play for you now the video from last night, which was doing my late night check-in, to show you how this worked when I used the routine I've spoken to you about, which was the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Skincare Base, so the super glowy base. I powdered down and I used the airbrush setting spray. So here is my end of day for that. So this is my 3-hour check-in. I wanted to show you this because you can see how the glow has started to come through, which is what I was hoping for really. So I didn't want to completely powder this down. You don't really use this foundation as something where you don't want the glow. But if it's that sort of extreme glow like I had when I tried it on the first time, using powder all over does not mean you lose the glow. Because look, I have definitely still got the glow. But now I think it's more of a healthy, natural glow instead of a almost greasy, sweaty sort of glow, which is what I think I had prior to powdering this down. It feels very comfortable, and the lip colour has really lasted. I've had 2 drinks at least since I applied this, and one thing, there's no transfer with this once it dries down. It really does dry down, but it doesn't dry my lips. They don't feel dry, they feel normal dry, if you know what I mean, hydrated dry, if that makes sense. But I could now just go in with a lip balm to give this a bit more longevity. So very pleased with the longevity of this. So I'm expecting my cheeks to last all day. If it's staining my lips, it should really work very well on my cheeks. Obviously it hasn't budged so far. So this is the 3-hour check-in for you, but I'm going to do an evening check-in so you can see how this is all lasting. Has it moved off my chin, which most foundations do, and everything else. So I will be back to show you my evening check-in. So this is a 9-hour check-in. I've stayed up as late as I could to get the longest one for you, and I am very pleased with the results actually. I've got no caking at all, apart from possibly a tiny little bit there, which is more that it's just gone dry, and I think that's just because I'm back on tretinoin. Normally it would be around all of there with most foundations, and it really is a speck there. In the magnification mirror I could see it. The only thing I would say is I do seem to have a bit of a line. I don't know if it'll come up on camera, it might just be obvious in the magnification mirror. There's almost like a line of cakiness here and here, and if you saw my video in part 1, I used the Beautiful Skin concealer here as I did under the eyes, and there's also bad caking there. So the only caking I've had from this foundation is where I've put the Beautiful Skin concealer on top of it. So I really think they don't like each other, which is strange because Charlotte did say to use them together. So I don't know if this is just me, but I've never had that happen before. So I will not be using this concealer with this foundation again, and certainly for my video, which will be my day 2 video, which you'll be watching now, I will not be doing that. But on the whole, what I'm really impressed with actually is that my chin area, which always seems to go red, hasn't. I haven't had a super messy meal, and I haven't had an oily meal, which does help. But if you've seen any of my foundation check-ins recently, you would have seen I usually have quite a red chin by the end of the day. So I did actually use the setting spray, which I didn't show in my video, the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. So that has helped lock it in. I'm not sure if I hadn't powdered and used the setting spray if this would have lasted, because it just felt like it was so sticky. I think it probably would have gone. So, and I'm not really going to be testing that because I just can't do it. I couldn't go even out of the room without my hair sticking to my face without powdering it down. So I have to powder this one down, but you can see I've got a really good glow coming through. I think my texture is showing up more than it did when I first applied it. I think the glow has come through enough for the texture to start to show up, but it doesn't feel particularly greasy. I think the powder has held it back. You can see the shine all over, but I still think it's more of a natural shine, not an awful glow. So I think it's done exactly what it promises. And I'm very, very impressed with the way it's done that, to be honest with you, because I didn't have quite such high expectations when I first applied it. So my part 1 video would show you just how glowy that was. But, and the cheek and lip tint, you can see it's lasted on my cheeks. This isn't the lip, obviously. That it lasted a good 4 hours though. It really did last well. This is a completely new lip gloss. But yeah, the cheeks, they haven't changed. I'm really happy with that. You can see the glow coming through, and that glow is still purely from this foundation. So there we go. That's my check-in. Locked in with powder and setting spray. This really does last. So you can see from my check-in video there that the staying power of this was pretty good using the powder and the setting spray. So the longevity on this is absolutely fine. It's whether or not you like the effect of it. And one thing I would say is, when I looked in the mirror, not in this environment here underneath studio lights, I didn't love the way it looked, if I'm going to be really honest. So when I wear the Lisa Eldridge skin tint, which I feel perfects my skin but doesn't give it this super glow, even though that's super light coverage like this, whenever I look in a mirror in any light, I always love the finish on my face. But I just like the finish on this, not love. And as somebody pointed out in the comments section of part 1, what's the point of having this when you have to powder it and you have to sort of hide the glow because it's so much? And I agree, really, you shouldn't have to. I mean, I do like to powder generally anyway, but it is really defeating the purpose. Like with the Lisa Eldridge one, for instance, I could quite happily slap that all over my face in a rush and go out the house knowing that it's perfected my skin if I'm not doing makeup that day. If I choose to go in with powder and make it full glam, that's entirely up to me, and it does work. But the point is, I can do either. But this one for me, even though I've seen Charlotte apply this on many people and just saying, look, you can put it on in 30 seconds and you can go off and your skin looks perfect and glowy and wonderful, not for me. Can you see above my lip how I haven't powdered down enough here, clearly, and it's still so gleamy, and it's showing, it is emphasising all the lines above my lip, which I don't normally see that easily. So I clearly need to powder a bit more there. There, that's helped. There's a little bit of powder left on my puff. But the problem I've got with this is if I don't powder, it is awful. That's my view of this. But as you can see from my check-in, when it's powdered down, I like the glow that comes through. I like the way it gives me that highlight without the highlighter. So I'm going to have to keep playing with this one, but I know already that I don't want to reach for it like I have done with things like the cushion foundations I've tested out this year and the Fenty foundation and certainly Tom Ford. I've been repeating those, wanting to go back to them. And this one, I know I will repeat it because I feel I should, but whether by the end of the month I'll be, and maybe I should do this as my end of month review even for next month, give it a full review. So maybe I'll make it my July review, this one, so I can give it longer. But whether during that time I'd actually reach for it because I love it and when I want to use it, I don't know. I don't think it's very fair to make my judgment by the end of the month. So I might give you a mini update for the end of June month, but I think I'll keep using it and tell you in the end of July whether it's been sent to the cupboard or whether it's staying in my regular rotation. So now on to these cheek, lip and, I get this name wrong every time, this lip and cheek tint. I don't know why I can't say that sentence, but anyway, I've got all of the shades of these, and yesterday I tried on one of them, so I won't repeat that one today. If you want to see that specific shade, go to part 1. And the one I tried on yesterday was called Pinched Cheek Glow. But I will swatch all of these side by side so you can see how they all look before I apply any of them. And I will also include a swatch of the only one I've currently got in my collection that was already in the Charlotte Tilbury collection, and that's the Pillow Talk one in the colour of Passion. I won't be trying it on today, but somebody called Deborah, who I often speak to on my channel, so hi Deborah if you're watching, did ask me how this one looks. So I did do a quick video last night before I took my makeup off showing how Cheek of Passion looks. Sorry, Colour of Passion. So here is Pillow Talk Colour of Passion. Here's that clip. So a second layer here, and it blends out exactly the same way as the others. I'm not really noticing any difference in formula. On my lips it was very, very moisturizing, felt like a lip balm. This is a beautiful shade. For me it's got more of a sort of autumn vibe about it because it's that slightly deeper shade, but it is a shade that would pretty much go with most looks, as Pillow Talk shades generally do. So there we have it. I wouldn't go any more on my face, but you could build this up, as you can see, because I've pretty much doubled the colour there. So there we have it. Colour of Passion. Colour of Passion. And this is Pinched Cheek Glow, which is the one I tried on in part 1. This one is Sun Blushed Glow. I just wanted to show you this up against Pinched Cheek because they're quite similar. But I'll swatch them together so you can see they both look a bit reddish. So this one is the Pinched Cheek and this one is the Sun Blushed Glow. So here is Sun Blushed Glow. You see they're so similar, so you definitely do not need both of these. I'm swatching them on my arm, they do look incredibly similar, don't they? And then there's Sunset Bronze. So here is Sunset Bronze. And this one is Beach Peach Glow. So here is Beach Peach Glow. That one is definitely the lightest, more sheer, I think. It's quite hard for me to swatch that without it getting too sheer. And then lastly there's Paradise Pink. And there it is, Paradise Pink. So there they all are. So these are the new ones and this is from the older collection, the Pillow Talk. So I'm going to start with Sun Blushed Glow, which is so similar to the one I tried in part 1, which was the Pinched Cheek. And I know from yesterday I can be pretty generous because it really does blend out. So this one does actually seem quite pigmented compared with yesterday. I actually put 3 coats on yesterday with the Pinched Cheek to develop this sort of level. So this one seems a bit stronger to me. So if you're tempted by these shades, if you want one that's a bit less deep, I would go with Pinched Cheek. And if you want one that packs more of a punch, maybe if you've got a darker skin tone to me, this one might be the better of the two for you to try. And I'll pop some on my lips. So I'm not being super accurate with blush or lips because they're coming on and off. So I've just rubbed that in as I would a lip balm. So you get the cohesive look then between cheek and lip. I would need to tap around this to tidy it up. I'm not going to go to town because of taking it on and off. It's not much point. So I just want to give you a general idea. I definitely would not be building this up, but I will just show you how buildable this is. So you can definitely get a lot more colour if you want it, look. So you can really build this up. So definitely for deeper skin tones, this one is a very good option. So Sun Blushed Glow. Actually love it on the lips. Anyway, I'm going to take it off. So I've taken it off and reapplied the foundation. I'm just quickly showing you since it's coming off again. I've used the Unreal Skin again as bronzer on this side, and I'm going to use the Beautiful Skin bronzer this side just so you can see the difference between the two. So this is the Beautiful Skin side and this is the Unreal Skin. It's definitely more glowy, isn't it? Very similar shades though, aren't they? Even though on my hand they don't look very similar. This is the Beautiful Skin in Fair and this is the Unreal Skin in shade 13 Deep. Anyway, on to the next blush. So this is Paradise Pink Glow. Maybe be a little bit less heavy-handed in case it's as pigmented. Actually, it's not coming off very pigmented. This is looking like a really pretty pink actually. I'm wearing all golds today, so definitely the peachy bronzy ones I think would be better with this look, but still want to see what the pink is like. It's actually beautiful. I really like this one. So I'll take it on the lips. So I've really built this up on the lips. That's actually the 3rd layer. So that's as pigmented as I can get this on the lips. And I'll take a bit more on the cheeks. And certainly if you're going to powder down, which I would with these products, to lock them in, you probably do need to go quite a bit stronger because as soon as you powder down it does take a bit of the colour away. Maybe a bit too much for me now, but that would probably be just perfect when I powder down, which I will do for my final look so you can see. That is a really pretty colour. So there is Paradise Pink Glow. So I've taken that off and now trying Beach Peach Glow. This one is super light as I apply this one, look. So that I'm going in with 2 layers with my fingers. This is a very subtle peach for sure, but it's a lovely peach. Really lovely, but very, very subtle. So this will definitely be a fair skin popular shade, I think. It is very, very light. So that's my third layer. I don't know if that could be built up any more than that. So if I go in with a fourth, yeah, it can be built up. So you can just keep building it. That's a very pretty colour. It goes a lot better with my top and my eye makeup, doesn't it? Taking some of this Beach Peach Glow on the lips. So this month I've pretty much only wore golden sort of looks with a Natasha Denona palette, and at the moment I'm testing out all of the Colourpop Jelly Much shadows. This is one of them, and I am looking for lipstick shades like this for these looks because it is the perfect combination, I think, with the golds, and this is beautiful actually. I love that. I think that might be my favourite on the lips so far. I really like that. So it really builds up more on the lips for me, this one. Builds up more on the lips than it does on the cheeks, but for me the way it builds on the cheeks is just right. So I would need to powder it a bit. Not super tacky, but enough for my hair to stick to my face. So I probably would go in with another layer and then powder, and then it would probably bring it back to this level. So I really like this. This is the perfect one I've tried so far for that summer bronzy peachy look. Lovely. So it's all taken off for my very final cheek look. I haven't applied the foundation again because I decided, I might still do a shorts video on this, but I decided for this area of the cheek I'm going to put plenty of the Unreal Skin here. I have left my forehead and T-zone completely untouched because they were powdered down. Now I'm going to go in with the Hollywood Flawless Filter, and this is in shade 1 Fair, and I'm going to put this on the cheek so you can see how both cheeks look, so you can decide, is one more glowy than the other? Are they the same? Are they different? So now I'm taking the Flawless Filter. Certainly as you swipe the Flawless Filter on, it looks like it's giving a lot more coverage, but then as it's blended out I don't really think it is. It just looks a lot thicker because it's more of a cream, whereas the foundation is definitely more of a balm. I also reapplied the Danessa Myricks mattifying serum underneath my cheeks, so I'm now back to the base I had at the start of the video. So here is the Flawless Filter side, and here is the Unreal Skin side. Which side looks more glowy? So the people who have said that Unreal Skin is effectively Flawless Filter in a stick, they've probably got a point, because I'd almost say I'm seeing a bit more glow with Unreal Skin. In part 1 I did swatch the two on my hands and then I rubbed it in, and I thought that the Flawless Filter side looked a bit more glowy, but now on my face I think Unreal Skin looks a bit more glowy, which tells me that probably the only way I should ever use this is in the way I use the Hollywood Flawless Filter, and I think a lot of people will find that. So if you love the Flawless Filter and you want to use it maybe at the very end of your makeup to tap on as highlighter, or one of the ways I love to use it is all over the face underneath powdered foundations, because it gives you that bit of glow from beneath when you're using a powder foundation. That's another way. So if you wanted a stick version to do those things, which is probably easier to apply than having this and having to get the dough fit out, then this would probably be a good option. But that would probably be my preferred way of using this foundation rather than all over the face, because it is just too glowy, and I do need to do an awful lot with so many products to try and get this to work. And I can get it to work, but I shouldn't have to, if you know what I mean. So that's how I would personally use it. So back in with shade 13, and I think I'll be sticking with this as a bronzer option. So this is the last one, Sunset Bronze Glow. I've saved this till last because I thought this could be the best one to go with my eye look today, even though the last one I used was perfect actually. This one should be quite a bit deeper. That is a lovely colour actually. Maybe I won't need quite as much of this, because with the peach one I did need lots of layers. Yeah, I'm quite happy already with that layer. That is really nice. I think I would personally choose this one over the peach because this is a very balmy product and I don't want to have too much balm on if I can avoid it. a little bit is better for me. Oh yeah. So if you're looking for a peachy bronzy one, I would definitely be going for this one. Let's see how it looks on the lips, because the peach one looked so pretty on the lips. I'll take it on my lips now. I prefer the peach on the lips, and I prefer this one on the cheeks. So that's probably how I'll be using it. I'm just taking a bit of lip liner. This is one of the e.l.f. liners. It doesn't say on it what it's called. It's called something Bear With Me, or Bear, it's called Bear something. I remember, but it's not on there. It's something that annoys me with e.l.f. products. This is my £2 lip liner. So I'm going to take a little bit more of this Sunset Bronze, because I'll be putting some powder on. Just on the higher points of the cheek. This really is lovely. I'll show you how this looks powdered down. I might just powder one side so you can see the difference. So there, this side is powdered down, and you can see there's still a huge amount of glow coming through with a light layer of powder. So it really is giving that glow. It is the double glow, isn't it? Because I'm getting it from the foundation, well the triple actually, the foundation, because I used the foundation base, then I used the darker shade as my bronzer, and then I've used the Island Glow blush. So I think that you definitely don't need a highlighter, and it's giving you that very sort of natural type of glow, which I think looks a lot better and probably more natural with a bit of powder on than this side, where it just looks beaming. I'm going to powder this side as well now. With a light dust and a powder on a fluffy brush, I'm just going to go all over the face, because this is what I need to do with these products to stop my hair sticking to my face, and this will lock it in. And as you've seen, it does not stop the glow, and throughout the day the glow will come through a bit more as well, so I'm still getting that glowy finish. So for me, the highlight of this release has definitely been the I can't say this, the cheek and lip tint. Not so much the foundation. The foundation is okay, but it's definitely not going to be a favourite for me this year, I'm afraid. It's just okay. Maybe if you love that sort of thing, if you love really, really light coverage and super glowy, you're going to love this. But for me, there's just too many tricks for me to pull this off. So I will use it if I need a bit of highlight. I'm actually going to keep it on my desk, I think, and use it as an alternative to highlight when I have a less glowy blush. So again, I will report back to you on how it's going for that purpose. And when I'm using a very matte foundation, I'll try it underneath as well, so I can report back on that as well. But I think it's basically, think of this as the Hollywood Flawless filter in a stick, which I know lots of people have said, and they are spot on. And as for the blushes, I think my top two would be, and this is a surprise for me, the Pinched Cheek, which I really liked on my lips. I was quite surprised by it. I never would have bought this. I don't normally go for reds. So again, you'd need to look at the part 1 video to see me trying this on. But this one surprised me. It is very pretty. And then my second favourite would be the Beach Peach Glow. The Sunset Bronze, which I'm wearing now, is a very close second. The reason I prefer the peach is because of how it looked on the lips. But I think I prefer this one on the cheeks, the bronze one. But the reason I would probably buy the peach is that once you've built up the peach, you can get a slightly similar effect. So rather than buying both, personally I would go with the peach. But I'm very happy to have both, to be honest with you, because I really, really like them, and I'm going to definitely try them mixed together. I also love the Paradise Pink as well, so I'm not really coming up with a top two very easily here, am I? But this one is a very close second to the peach, I'd say. So it's not quite joint second, so probably third, but yeah, I really do like this pink, and I'll definitely get use out of this one. Probably the one I liked the least was this one, which is called the Sun Blushed Glow. So this is the one that was a bit too pigmented for me. I think this is the one that's going to be the best for deeper skin tones. So anyway, they all work on fair skin, as you've seen today, so I think that all skin tones can pretty much enjoy this collection. They can be built up and used in different ways, so they are the highlights of this release for me by a mile. I would love to know what you all think of this. It's been quite fun doing this 2-day video, trying it on in so many different ways. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful to you. And if you've got any questions, or if you want to chat about this, I would love to talk with you below in the comment section. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it so much if you did subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you for hanging on till the end of this video. And I hope to see all of you again for my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye. you.